Hello everyone. In this video, we are going to solve a CSES problem called number spiral. So a number spiral is an infinite grid whose upper left square has a number 1. Here is the first 5 layers of the spiral, and the task for us is to find out the number in row Y and column X. So we can just at the first glance, we will see the input format, and we'll see, oh, there might be, within a file, there are lots of tests, right? So we have to compute it fast. We do not have enough time for generate the entire spiral on this grid, and then come up with the answer by looking at the table, right? So this gives us some hints from the constraint, saying that we need to find out a more mathematical way to figure out the answer. So let's try this. So if we just follow the spiral, the idea of the spiral, we can first make some observation, right? So it basically goes like this. We have 1, we have 2, 3, 4, and we have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. But basically it's going something like this. And I'm highlighting all the square numbers. As you can see, we have this kind of pattern. And all we need is to follow the pattern and to see what's the value it's on in the specified location. Okay, so let's say we have a location, let's say Y on the Yth row and X column, right? So let's say, suppose we have Yth row, then we have X column. Oops, right. X column, we have this. Okay. How do we identify this place? So first of all, we can try to figure out the closest square number that is smaller than this particular value, right? So what would be the square number that we're looking for? Right? So if whichever is larger, right? It might be the square. Let's say if x greater than y, then we have a square like this, right? So this entire square is, for example, like x minus 1 squared, right? So this entire square will contribute to all the x minus 1 square values. First, x minus 1 squared values in the spiral, and then let's say this is the case where x greater than 1. Okay. Then we need to figure out which direction it is, right? So the direction, it might be go from top to down, or we can go from left to right. And that direction is depend on the parity of x minus 1, right? So if x minus 1 is odd, that it means it goes from the topmost cell and go down and go left. If x minus 1 is even number, then it's go right and then go up. Okay, so this is basically the idea. And after we figure out the square value and we are able to identify the location of the actual value, right? Okay, so that's the idea. Okay, so now let's try to implement the solution. So first, we create file number spiral, and then we read the input value, and then for each line of input, we'll read in the value of y and x. Then we first calculate the largest square that is smaller than the location of y and x. So that is the largest square equals to the maximum value of x, y coordinates minus 1. Okay, so if this quantity is an odd number, that means the starting value of the next value should go from top to down, right? So in this case, if y is actually smaller than x, then we just knew that it go from the first row up to the yth row, right? So this value will be the k squared plus y, right? Otherwise, if y is smaller than x, then it means it passes the corner and go to the left-hand side. So what we can see is k plus 1 squared is the next the next square value subtracted by how much you have x minus 1, right? So you have x minus 1 layers, x minus 1 columns. So this finishes the first case, and in the second case, if k is an even number, we should do like reverse linear. So we starting from the yth row and going to the right. So if x is smaller, in this case, it actually counts from the lower left location, and we just do x columns. Otherwise, it's again symmetric to the previous case. It's subtracted by how much you left to the topmost row. Okay, and then at the end we should print the value and finishes this test. Okay, so let's try to run this now. So we have 3 test cases, and the first test case is 2 and 3, and it gets 8 for us. Yes. And then we test 1 and 1, we get 1, yes. And then we test 4 and 2, we get 15. We can try this, and we should get. Let's try it. Oh, it got passed. Nice.